Welcome to another tutorial on how to manage your school's webpage. I'm Chris Maurer, and today I'll be taking you through how to write blog posts. So, if you'll remember in another tutorial, a previous one, that we went through and talked a little bit about pages. I'm over here in the admin site and we'll be using the Inspired demo today. But over here in the left-hand admin menu, you'll see over that there's a pages area. If we hover over pages and choose all pages, you'll see a listing of pages that have been created on your website, whether I created them or you created them or Santa created them, I don't know. Anyway, you'll see a listing of the ones that are there. And you'll have to bear with me today, the internet's been a little bit slow around here lately. Over here we have a blog page. I'm just going to click this quick edit here so you'll see that the template is assigned to blog. Now, if you'll recall from that previous tutorial on pages, that anything that is assigned the blog page template pulls from this posts area over here. And it's posts that we are going to spend our time on today. So if we hover over posts, you'll see a number of menu items. All posts, add new, categories, and tags. Posts is the terminology that WordPress uses for a blog entry. So a blog entry is the equivalent of a post. I'm going to click on All Posts in the Posts menu. When that page loads, what we're going to see is a listing of all the different posts that are on our website up to this point. So you'll see here we have Intergalactic Chase Captivates Millions, Hair Goes Swoosh, Students Create Wasp Armor, Climber Scales Giant Idaho Potato for extra credit, yada yada yada. We've got a number of different posts here written. On this page also you'll see that there's an author column that tells you who wrote the post. We have the categories. These are the categories in which the posts are filed, and we'll get into categories just a little bit later so you'll see how that is. Over to the right of that you have tags. These are just basically keywords of what's being talked about on the post. To the right you have the date it was published, or if it's in draft mode it will tell you the day it was started to be written. And then you have an ID, and we're not going to be using those IDs. So I'm going to go back into the front end of the website. Something that you might want to do, something that I like to do anyway, is I hover over the school name up here in this network bar, and I right click it, and then I choose Open Link in New Tab. That opens up a new tab in my browser window so that I can easily bounce back and forth between what I see on the front end of the website and back here on the back end or the administrative area of the website. So let's go to the front end of the website and let's find the blog page over here. So if I click on the blog page, you'll see a listing of all the different entries that we just saw. We have the Intergalactic Chase, the Hair Goes Swoosh, Students Create Wasp Armor, the Giant Potato. I wonder what it would be like to scale a giant potato, and more. So here, let's just take this Intergalactic Chase one and just give you a brief rundown of what it does here on the front end of your website. So on the blog page, what you see is a listing of all the articles that you have written, or rather all the posts that you have written in reverse chronological order, meaning that the most recent posts are the ones at the top. The ones that were written later on, for example, you'll see this was written in December 11 of 2012. This one is December 10 of 2012, and the December 10 is lower down in the list. So as you write more, the newer ones are going to show up on top. So you have the title right here. Underneath here you have the post info, the time it was written and who wrote it. Here we have the excerpt of the post, or rather just a lead in to the full post. If someone wants to read the entire post and not just that little excerpt, they either have to click the title or they have to click the read more link. Over here to the left we have the featured image, and we'll come back to all of this and tell you how to set this stuff up. But this featured image here basically is a visual cue or something to attract them visually to the post and about what it covers. So underneath each post you also have this little section. This section is the post meta, and you don't have to get lost in all this terminology. I'm just throwing it out there for any of you who are geeky enough to want to hold on to it, like myself. So the filed under, we have the transportation. This is the category. Notice filed under transportation is the intergalactic chase captivates millions category. If I come back over here to the that thing keeps popping up there. If I come back over here to the administrative area, I look at intergalactic chase captivates millions, and it's filed under the transportation category. Over here to the right, we have tags. The tags, again, are just the smaller keywords that give people a quick idea of the subject matter of your post. So I tend to think of it as a high-level organization and a low-level organization. A category is high level. It's the general topic. The intergalactic chase generally talks about transportation, but it specifically talks about being captivated. A chase talks about Darth Vader. You just can't say Darth Vader's name without doing the sound effect. Then you have drama, you have Lego, millions. I think you get the point, right? High-level navigation, low-level navigation. So you'll notice here on this that each one of these posts may have different categories and different tags. So far we have a transportation and employees and a students category. We have a couple in students. Let's say I click on that students category. When I click it, you'll notice the URL up here changes, so it says, okay, we are now in the category students. So now everything that shows up on this page will be filed under the students category. The same thing happens with tags. For example, if I'm going through here and I see a tag that interests me, there you go, bacon. I love bacon. Let's click on the bacon tag. If I click that, anything now that has bacon as a tag is going to show up. So you'll see that categories and tags are a very useful way to organize your information to help the person using your website find content rather quickly. They're also helpful for when you're searching the website, and they're good for search engine optimization, which we are not going to get into at this moment. So let's go back to the now that you see how the posts work, I'm actually going to click into this juicy hamburger post. It is about lunchtime right now, so it's fitting. If I click the read more, you'll see that you get the full post. You get the title, the info again. This was that introductory paragraph. Here we have an image that I've uploaded and the rest of the article, including the post meta information down below here. So I'm going to go back into the main blog page here, so we have a standard place of reference. Over into the admin area now. The question is, great, so we have a place for the blog posts to go, but how do I assign categories and how do I assign tags? Over here to the left hand side, you'll notice that you have a categories menu item. If I click categories, all the categories that I have listed on the website will display. The categories page over here to the left, we have where we add categories. Over here to the right is where the categories display which have already been added. Now, possible categories for you might be principals message, PTA, community council. Maybe you have an activities or a sports category, maybe a yearbook category. I don't really know. Basically, just figure out what subjects you are going to be talking about and writing about before creating the categories, and then you're golden. I really can't stress enough, though, the importance of doing categories first. It will save you so much headache in the long run, filing your posts as you go versus coming back a year later and saying, I've got 50 posts. Where do I put them all? Okay, so categories first. I'm going to use principals message as an example category. The only thing you really have to do is type in the name and then come down here and click Add New Category. But a question I get somewhat frequently is, what is the slug? A slug is basically a tough-skinned terrestrial cephalopod that secretes a mucus or some kind of nasty, slimy substance as a protection. It often wanders about without a shell. Those would be snails. So moving on. No, just kidding. Slug, basically it's a URL-friendly version of up here where you see principal's message. An example of a slug would be principal's message. It strips out any special characters like apostrophes and puts hyphens in place of spaces. Down below here, parents, we'll get to parents when we talk a little bit about your directory. Okay, so I've entered in a name. That's all you have to enter in. The slug will be generated automatically for you, but I've put it in this time anyway. And then I'll click Add New Category. When I do that, over here to the right, you'll see that the principal's message category has been added. So now I can come over here to the left-hand side, and I'm going to click Add New. Clicking Add New brings us to the Create a New Post page. And once that loads, we'll dive right in. So you'll notice up here it says Add New Post. That way you know where you are at. Up here also you have the post-new in the URL. So here it's fairly straightforward, really. Up here where it says Enter Title, here, that is where you put in your title. So what's an example title here? How about The Day I Ate 10 pounds of ramen soup? Down below, so that's the title. You'll notice now that the title has been entered in, that this little spot pops up. This is the permalink. You'll see that the title is being used here in the URL to directly access the post. You can edit that URL and make it shorter if you want, but otherwise just leave it as default and you're good to go. Down here we have the content area, the body area of your post. You have the ability to write in here, add pictures, add links. You can add a contact form or a slideshow, all sorts of different things that you can do. We're going to keep it fairly basic today though and just do a picture, a PDF, and also just some general text. So notice though, I do want you to see that I'm going to collapse that because we have the visual tab right here and a text tab. The visual tab is what's called a WYSIWYG editor. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. But you have to understand that the WYSIWYG is a lie. It's basically a nice term for saying we're trying to give you the best idea of what it's going to look like. If you really want to see what your post looks like while you're working on it, you'll come up here to the preview button and you'll click that, and we'll show that just a little bit here. So that's the visual tab. It tries to just give you what you see. Does its best job to render what you're going to see. Over here in the text tab, if you are kind of a code nerd or you want to use HTML or even learn some HTML, the text tab is where that is. And we'll show you the difference as we go through here. I primarily use the text tab because I'm used to it, but as I've been going around to the different schools and seeing what's happening, most people are using the visual tab, and that's okay. We're going to be doing this in the visual tab anyway, just so you get an idea of what it's like. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just enter in some text here. So bear with me here as I type something out. Okay, I'm not even sure I spelled restaurants right. So here I have a little paragraph. Let's say at this point I want to add a picture. I can do that. Wherever your picture is going to be added, or wherever your cursor is, see how it's blinking right there? That's where your picture is going to be added. It's generally good practice to put pictures on a new line. It just makes for easier text formatting and whatever else. So I'm going to put it on a new line, and then I'll come up here to the Add Media button. If I click Add Media, you'll find if you have stuff added already, it shows up here in the media library, but I'm going to go to Upload Files, just so I can see what I've got going on. So I'm going to click Upload Files, and it brings me to this. Here I can drag and drop a file, or I can click the Select Files button and upload something through the Finder or Windows Explorer. Notice though that you have a 1 megabyte limit. Most of the pictures that you need to upload, you are going to upload, just make sure they're around 100 kilobytes, which is far below the 1 megabyte picture limit. So I'm clicking Select Files, and let's go find some pictures. So stock photography, I've got some in there. Let's see what I've got going on. I wonder if I have anything with ramen noodles, since that's what I was writing about. Maybe I should have checked first. I don't. But this rabbit here, that's a nice little rabbit. We'll use that. So I'm selecting the rabbit, and you'll notice that it uploads and it brings us back into the media library here again. This drop down lets me figure out, well, do I want pictures that were just uploaded to this post? If I click that, only that rabbit's going to show up. If I do images, again, there you go, the rabbit. But if I click on all media items, anything in your library will also show up there. Now over to the right, here you can give it a title. The title is the only required field. Your caption, alt text, and description are not required. In fact, things get a lot easier if you just leave caption and description and whatnot blank. Your alt text is used for people who are using internet readers. For example, blind people may be using a reader that tells them what is there. So right here in the alt text I might put picture of a rabbit. Down below here you have attachment display settings. This is general basic stuff. You have the alignment. If you click that, you have left, center, and right. That's basically how your picture is going to align in relationship to the text. You see that a lot in Microsoft Word and other text editing programs that you use. You have link to. It defaults to the media file, which means if they click that image once it's in the post, it's just going to load that image larger. It's going to link directly to that image file. You have a custom URL, so if you want them to click that rabbit picture and it takes them somewhere else, like homestarrunner.com, you can do that. So you have attachment page as well. It's kind of useless, honestly. That just brings them to another page with the image on there as the same size. I don't think you'd ever use it, or you can do none. I prefer to leave mine at media file nearly 99% of the time. Very rarely do I need anything else. This right here is the URL to the actual file itself. Here you have a size. These are the different sizes that you can enter or add the media into. So you have thumbnail, medium, full size. These widths right here, they will be going away here shortly, so you can ignore those. So when in doubt, enter it in as medium and you're good to go. So I'm going to click the Insert into Post button, and you'll notice now that it's been inserted into my post, just as expected. At this point, I can click the image if I want to, and depending on the browser that you are using, you might see little handles over here where you can resize it. But it's really not needed. You can click it. This circle with a line through it, that's to delete the image. The landscape picture there is for editing. You can edit, you can modify the size, the alignment, do more title, alternate text, whatever. You've got a number of options in there. And going back to categories, there you go. Categories. So you'll notice that the principal's message category that we added is now displaying right there. So I'm going to choose principal's message, and that will file it on the blog page under principal's message. You also have tags down there. Again, tags are just keywords regarding the subject matter that you're talking about. Since I wrote about ramen and I have a picture of a rabbit, those might be good tags. So ramen. I'm also going to do ramen noodles because someone might search for ramen noodles as well. Rabbit, bunny, 10 pounds. Spelled like that and like that. Then I'm going to click add and it will show it up right here. Now if I don't want one of these right there, I can simply click that X and it will remove it from the post. At this point I can save a draft, I can preview it, or I could hit publish. I'm going to click preview and it opens up a new tab in your browser. It might open up a new window. You'll just have to see what your browser is set to do. And once that loads, you'll see a page that shows everything that you've got on your website and what it's going to look like. So when this publishes, it will look like this. Something that I still want to do though is show you how to add a PDF. So in a new paragraph, I've entered in a new paragraph. Let's add a PDF now. It's basically the same thing as adding an image. You come up here to add media, you select the file that you want, and we are going to go to, let's see if we can find one here really quick. How about how Pixar fosters creativity? Notice that it's under the 1 megabyte file limit. I'm going to click upload, and then it just shows me a little thumbnail of my PDF. It's not going to insert an image, it is going to insert a link. So once that finishes uploading, we will do that. Okay, so this is basically just a thumbnail, just so it has the same amount of space and everything on this grid. The title of the PDF, How Pixar Fosters Creativity. I take that, I come over here, I want to make sure it's linked to media file, so it opens up the PDF, and then I'm going to click Insert into Post. And notice that the title of the PDF is inserted now as a link. This will not actually embed the PDF so people can read it on that page. It just adds a link that goes to the file. And most browsers have a built-in PDF reader, so that's totally okay. So notice down below here you have a number of different options. The one I want to talk to you about is this Publish Immediately. If I click Edit, notice that it gives me some date and time pickers. I can set the date for sometime in the future, should I choose, and hit OK, and it will publish it for me on that date. So if I'm going to be gone for a week, and I still need something published on that Friday of the week that I will be gone, I can write it up beforehand, say I want it to be published on that day at a certain time, and hit OK. And then this blue button here will change to scheduled, and it will let you know that it's scheduled to be published. So I'm going to hit cancel because we're publishing it right now, and I'm going to come over here to the right and click publish. Okay, so the post has been published. That took a little bit longer than I was expecting, a little bit of a slow internet. Then I'll come over here and let's say, alright, let's check it out. So I'm going back to this front end tab and I'm clicking on the blog page to see what's going on. Aha, there it is, the day I ate 10 pounds of ramen soup. That was a good day. So over here we have the read more, we have the excerpt. Notice it's filed under principal's message and it's tagged with those different tags. And also notice that that bunny image is showing up right here. So by default, the first media item that you upload to your post will display in that spot if it is an image. So if the first thing you do is upload a PDF and then an image, you're not going to have anything right there because the first thing uploaded was not an image. But that's not a really big thing to worry about. Again, remember that this is the featured image spot. You can actually set that to be whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to come back over here into the post and I'm going to scroll down on the post page. And you'll notice that there's this featured image section right here. Yours might be at the very bottom. These are drag and drop, so I have that up because I use it more often. So if I click Set Featured Image, I can choose what image I want in that featured image spot. So I'm going to click Set Featured Image, and it will show me now that that bunny will be in that spot. So let's say, for example, you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 images uploaded to this post, and you wanted another image in that featured image spot, I can do that. I'm going to set the featured image again, and let's say I want this bonsai tree in that featured image spot. I can click that, and now that is the featured image. But notice that the bonsai tree is actually not in the post itself. The featured image does not have to be in the post. If I come back over here and I refresh this page, you'll notice that the bonsai tree is now in that featured image. I click into the post, and I get the post as I would expect it. That's the link to a PDF. Now, something that I forgot to do that is generally good practice is when you are linking a PDF to let users know that you have a PDF there, and it's just not a link to another page on your website. So what you can do is, after the link, give it a little PDF. If you know the file size, I think mine was 258 kilobytes or something like that, you can put the size in there so people know how long of a wait they're going to have in general. And that way people know when they click it. If I click update now, and then we will refresh. I've refreshed the post after I've written the PDF and the size, and you'll see now that when I click that, oh yes, it's a PDF. I know what to expect. I'm going to click it, and voila. Here you have how Pixar fosters creativity. Oops, just closed my, should have gone back. So there you have it. That is writing posts, and that's really all there is to it. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. Hopefully it answered some of your questions. If you have questions, of course, you can always let me know. Send me an email. Again, my name is Chris Maurer, and that's that. Have a good day.